Okay, and we are on air live. Brilliant. Well, hello, Igor Kheifets. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. No, thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time out to spend some time with me and answering my questions. This is for mainly my blog readers, my blog viewers. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about solo ads, and people have been bringing your name up. There's a lot of people out there who have a lot of questions about solo ads. You are regarded as a solo ads list building superstar in our world. There are a few people who don't know you though, so to kick off the call, maybe we should just get you to sort of introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into sort of the digital lifestyle, how you built your solo ads business, and just please take the floor.
All right. Well, first off, again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Actually, it's a funny story how we got together, right? I mean, you kind of reached out to me on Facebook and you told me that there's a bunch of people who are looking for me that end up on your blog. And so we decided to kind of sit down together and shoot a quick, I guess you can call it like a hangout or a training video, and bring people up to speed about how to use solo ads and how to use the list building techniques we're going to share on this call in order to further advance your list building success. Now, as far as myself and how I got started, well, actually, I stumbled upon this whole digital lifestyle thing almost by accident. What happened was I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I decided to change the way I wanted to live my life. And I started looking into investment opportunities and what I can do in order to start a business. And what happened is I stumbled across this website that showed this big pyramid, or like a diagram of a traditional MLM business, right, multi-level marketing business, showing how you can earn passive income off of the efforts of like other people. And I started looking for more information on that, and after kind of stumbling through a bunch of different sites and trying a bunch of different techniques to promote my MLM business, which I originally got started in, I realized that the people who were making the most money, right, the people who were profiting the most, and people who seem to be these, go-to gurus, and everybody would be like catching their every word and watching their YouTube videos or stuff like that. They were the information marketers, people who were creating either tools or information for MLMers. And when I further started to kind of digging into the whole information marketing industry, I realized that there's a whole world behind it. And when reading the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, I realized that he is an information marketer. I mean, the business he described was an information marketing business. And so that's how I decided to get into the scheme of things, and eventually, again, I mean, a lot of stuff that happened to me was more so an accident than it was like a strategic, um, uh, uh, you know, pre-planned success. It's more so like stumbling from one thing to the next that led to this, to this, to this, and to that. So I stumbled across solo ads as a means of simply trying to extract some money from my list that I couldn't really get to convert on a daily basis at the time, because they would only respond to specific type of offers that I would promote to them. And at the time, my list was fairly small as well, and the solo industry did not exist as we know it today. Safe swaps was on the map, but nobody was really going there. So eventually, I discovered that I could buy traffic, and that I could convert traffic, and that I could grow my list very, very quickly with that. And so it all evolved into not just that side of business, but also into providing traffic services for other people who don't know what they're doing right now. Because what happened was a lot of people got scammed, a lot of people got taken for a ride, and a lot of people spent a lot of money without really getting any sort of substantial results. So again, it's sort of like an evolution. So me being here today is an evolution of many different things that I can go on and talk about hours and hours and hours. But what's important here is that the purpose of this call is to really educate you, the listener, about the best ways to monetize your list, the best ways to use solo ads, the best ways to convert traffic into opt-ins and sales, and the best ways to build a profitable list that can pay the bills.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I mean, it's something that solo ads. I mean, I've been sort of marketing online for about 4 years now, and I have experimented with solo ads to varying levels of success myself. And it is something. The whole topic itself, it does bring out the best and worst in people. So many people rave about solo ads and think they're amazing. So many people say I never make any money back, and it's almost like a grey area. It's the people who are doing great in solo ads, they love them, but then there's people who aren't doing very well who just think they're a complete waste of time. I mean, with your business, the way you operate it, you seem to be very successful. You get great reviews all of the time. Why would you say that is?
Well, for one, I nurture the list in a different way. Most people who sell solo ads, they build lists to sell solo ads. They don't people through any filter. They don't pre-qualify subscribers. They don't really email the list in a way that gets the list to respond. And my mentor uses this term, a well-behaved subscriber, right? A subscriber that behaves well is a subscriber that clicks, like opens your emails, clicks on the links, and buys your stuff. So I do my best using the techniques that I developed over the years to nurture my list in a way that when I mail them something, they are preconditioned to respond, whether in the form of just checking it out or maybe investing in it, but either way, they respond in some way. And if they are even remotely interested in the offer or the solution that the offer hopes to solve, they are going to be likely to further investigate into it. And I take the same approach whenever I work with mentoring clients and consulting clients who want to start their own solo businesses. And it seems that they are delivering great results as well. So, Lennon Govert, a guy who many people know, who's a very respected solo seller, he seems to be delivering sales as well on constant basis, and people keep coming back to him. So there's a way, there's a method to nurture that list. To keep it responsive. It's kind of like, I'm in Israel right now, but I'm originally from Ukraine. But this is a place where I was born and raised. And in Ukraine, one of the national, I guess, foods that we choose to eat is the pig, is the ham, or I think the ham is the right term. So we eat a lot of ham, we eat a lot of meat from this animal. But in Israel, the overall idea of eating a pig is actually pretty dirty. It's against the Torah, but there is some people who still like manage a pig farm, right? But the pig farm, when they manage it, they don't treat the pig the same way they would treat them in Ukraine, and the meat is very dry. Right, so it's not even close to what you can get in Ukraine or in Germany or in the UK. I mean, there's a lot of ham going on in the UK. I've just been to Manchester and I've had the pleasure of eating like a bunch of, and like really stuck myself with it. So, there's a different way to nurture your product, and it plays a very major difference in the way that the list will respond to whatever you mail the list with.
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant analogy actually. Yeah, definitely. I didn't think we'd end up talking about pigs or ham, but absolutely, what you just completely nailed it on the spot. I'll kick off with a couple of questions because there are a few that I know a few people are sort of saying, make sure you get these across, and you see what you think about these. The first one's from a friend of mine, Steve Lawson, who's the co-founder of the View Tracker University. I don't know if you heard about View Tracker, but you probably will at some point. He's interested. He says, in order to build an online business, how much should I spend on a solo ad campaign to get things up and running? And how will I know that my money isn't going to go to waste? What would you say to somebody who answers that question?
Well, I'd say that this is a very smart person, because what you can usually tell is, you can tell by how successful a person is by the quality of the questions they ask. And this is a very high quality question. So I applaud your friend for asking it. Now, the answer to it is the following, right? So there is some sort of system, but for the most part, it's more so a testing kind of thing. But here's the thing: the only way to find out or to know whether or not a solo campaign is profitable is whether or not you're actually making any money off of it. Therefore, whenever I go out and I buy traffic from other solo providers, what I do is, first off, the first thing I do is I check out their testimonials. but not so much the testimonials they get on their soloist sales page, right? Because you can usually find it's other soloist sellers giving them testimonials, but more so what are people saying about them on blogs, on the Warrior Forum, on Safe Swaps, on Facebook groups. Right now there's a bunch of Facebook groups where you can actually get real people sharing real feedback about working with this or that particular seller, and I check it out that way. Not only that, but I try to do my best. I actually have a person who does it for me full time now, but I try to do my best investigating what sort of offers converted with that list the best by the testimonials, because whenever I see a testimonial by a real person, I will reach out to them and I will ask them if they worked with a guy and what kind of offer they promoted. And so based on the offer they promoted that converted with that person's list, I can see if my offer is going to convert too, because I can see if it's a similar type of offer. So if it is somewhat similar, if the USP is similar, maybe the overall idea behind it is similar, then I will go ahead and I will test the list with about 300 to 500 clicks. Now, if I get good results in terms of not so much the high opt-in rate, but more so the sales on the back end of it, and I will usually know within 7 days of running the promotion, I will go ahead and scale it up. So what I do is I strive to make sure my soloists pay back for themselves within 7 days. So I can simply go ahead and reinvest this money back into the business, and thus this answers the first part of the question, which is how much money should I invest? Well, my idea about growing a business on a shoestring budget is really more about reinvesting than it is about investing. So on the initial stage, when you test out your offer, when you tweak it and trying to get it to convert, yeah, you will have to invest some money. I would say between $500 and $1,000. But later on, you can clearly see whether or not you can keep scaling. If you cannot, you need to go back to a drawing board and tweak the offer, not so much the traffic. Because if you've tested, say, 5 lists, $200 per list, and you're not getting the conversions you were looking for, it's likely that your offer is to blame, not the lists. So, yeah. So to answer your friend's question, I would strive to invest a little bit at first, up to $1,000, and then simply create a scenario where I can reinvest and collect that money back within 7 to 14 days.
Right, excellent. Brilliant advice, thank you very much. Am I correct in saying that you have sort of your own mentoring and training program?
Yes, you are.
I've got a question from Jack John saying, what exactly are you teaching in your mentoring program?
Oh, okay. I actually did not expect this question to come up on the phone because I really thought it would be focused just about the specific strategies. But I guess people, no, it's cool. People demand to know, so it's actually not an uncommon question. I get it all the time. I get private messages from people because they see all the success stories we produce. But I do my best to keep things private. I do my best to maintain a certain level of mystery behind it, because this is something that many different people did pay a lot of money to get into. I guess what people really want to know is how come my students are so successful. I guess that's the true question behind the question. Like, how come whenever I work with a person and they actually do what I tell them to do, they are successful? The truth of it is I just tell them what I'm doing, because I practice what I preach on a daily basis, and I just show them my business and tell them, here's what I'm doing, here's what you need to be doing, and when they do it, I just help them along the way by answering their questions and reviewing their material and really taking the, making sure that they always have help and support along the way, right? So we never leave a man behind, for one, and we always give them the whatever is working right now versus teaching them some rehashed crappy information that we read in a PLR book or something like that. We do actually teach what we are doing right now, and I do have a coaching team behind me as well, because there's a lot of people who want to get my help. So I guess this is, to answer your friend's question, is we just practice what we preach, and we always give our students support, and that's why they are successful.
No, that's brilliant. That covered it great. Thank you. I mean, obviously, this person would probably like to know every single step of what's in your mentoring program, but then obviously that would mean you're revealing everything without charging any money. So obviously, you have a business to run at the end of the day, and we can't expect you to answer that question in depth. So thank you for that. I've got another one here from Eddie Jr. What advice would you give for the best sales funnel setup for a network marketing opportunity? Is there anything that you sort of like do's and don'ts that you've seen from people coming to your list with network marketing where you've gone, that's not going to work, or this will work? Any advice there?
Yes. What a lot of people are missing, in fact, just before getting on this call, I consulted for an hour a VIP client of mine who's a member of my solo VIP club about his network marketing business. And until now, he drove 500 qualified applications through the offer, and nobody converted into a sale. Now, what I feel the problem is for most people is they fail to enter the conversation that is already going on in the prospect's mind. So they make claims that are too good to be true. They never explain the reason behind why they want to help the person. They fail to answer some of the specific limiting buying beliefs that are stopping people from taking action. And oftentimes the USP itself is off. In order to really get great results here, what the whoever is advertising MLMs needs to understand is that people want to get ahead. People want to give you money, but they also have a bunch of demons in their head and pre-existing buying beliefs that are stopping them from doing so. One of the biggest demons is the trust, right? So oftentimes just the issue of trust and the person not trusting you that stops them from giving you money. Especially when the person, the advertiser, hides behind a generic sales page, like an Empower Network sales page, or a easiest system ever sales page, or iPass or whatever, right? Usually what happens is there's no trust, and they have to ask themselves, why would the prospect give me money? Why would the prospect trust me? Why would the prospect actually listen to me, and what makes me different from all these other people? And the way I learned to overcome that is by using some pre-sale content that eliminates all of these objections. So, some of the most common objections that would come up is, I have limited time. I am on the verge of broke, or I'm broke right now, and I don't have much money to invest. So how fast can I get profits? Why are you doing this? Is another big one. Why do you want me to buy this? Are you just here to make money? Are you here to help me? I want to understand. Another thing that is critical to remember is, will you give me support once I give you money, or will you just run away just like my ex-upline did? Right? Because in MLM, a big problem is, the upline leaves you hanging. They kind of leave you bleeding on the battlefield, and they kind of go away, and they don't care about you. That's why a lot of people drop out of all these network marketing opportunities. Another thing is, oftentimes what I see the big mistake is, people make too big claims. They make claims that are too good to be true, and they're huge. Like if you mail a sales page that says make $20,000 this month, or $10K a month in 30 days from now, that claim is kind of big. For many people, it's really complicated to make the mental leap that's going to take them from making nothing to making 10 grand a month in just 30 days. A number they would be more comfortable with is like 4K per month, or $100 a day. That is something they can see themselves do. And as we know with people, until we can see ourselves in our mind doing something, we can't really do it. That's why you see, a gorgeous woman hanging out with a very ugly guy, or with a guy who's a dick. Because in her mind she has low self-esteem, and thus she associates herself with this kind of person, right? So yeah. Therefore, like we serve this list. I have a client who is in Carrot Bars, which is like a big MLM opportunity, and I work with them on a private basis. And so they have a team that's like 11,000 people big. And what I asked them to do is I asked them to survey their list. And I asked to ask the customers they have in their downline what was their income goal when they joined. Like, there's some people who wanted to make 10K, other people want to make 25K. That's cool, but for the most part, 80% of the people said they want to make between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. What this tells you is that this is the comfort zone where most people feel comfortable, and this is the number you gotta be. I don't want to say promising, like if there's no substance to your promise, don't do that. It's kind of illegal. But that's the number you want to be putting into their heads, if you will. Right? That's the number you want them to be thinking about and associating with you, because that's the number they can feel is possible to achieve versus the number that's too big for them. Now, these are some of some of the most common objections that you need to conquer before asking people for the money when it comes to MLMs. But I urge you to investigate further into why people don't buy. Not just the features and the benefits of your opportunity, not just the compensation plan, not just the team that's going to help you, but more so, why do people not buy? And the only way to do it is to actually talk to people and to look into your own experience, because if chances are, if you're an MLM affiliate, like if you promote MLMs, you're an MLM junkie yourself. And I mean junkie in a good way, right? Not in a bad way. So if you are an MLM junkie, ask yourself, why did you not join this opportunity or that opportunity? Why did you choose to join this opportunity specifically? And use this knowledge in your marketing, in your emails, in your Facebook posts, in your Facebook ads, in your solo ads, to further attract people with a similar perception.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Oh, so would you say then, in your experience, when it comes to sending solo ads for like MLM and network marketing, that most people are just using the same old bog standard lead capture pages, and most of the time they're promising sort of out of reach riches, or do you get a fair share of people who do actually try and brand themselves, put themselves at the front of the offer, and sort of create their own landing pages?
Right. Well, for one, I do recommend, and I cannot recommend this enough, to create your own sales pages. And by the way, I do apologize about the noise. I work in a coffee shop, as you can, like in a bar/coffee shop kind of thing, and there's some people walking around here. So one thing I do recommend is building your own capture pages. There's nothing better you can do to guarantee high opt-in rates than that. In fact, we actually started building capture pages for our clients free of charge when they order like more than a certain amount of clicks, because we want them to get good results. And recently, in the last 60 days, we've been seeing a consistent 40+% opt-in rate from the clients who are using our capture pages, which is great. So I cannot recommend it enough. I cannot urge you enough to build your own capture pages. You can do it with a software such as Epic Squeeze, and I'm sure Gareth is gonna stick an affiliate link somewhere which you can click and buy it, or Lead Pages, which is another interesting software, which is which is software that allows you to use the page without you actually having to host it, which is pretty cool. With Epic Squeeze, you have to actually have a WordPress site to do it, and if you have one, Epic Squeeze is very cool. You can create very stylish pages. Well, these pages, it's self-hosted, so you don't have to do it, but it's a monthly fee. Epic Squeeze is just one-time fee. And I'm kind of biased towards Epic because it's been developed by my client, by my personal coaching client, Juan Morales, who's also a solo provider. So you can say it's been developed by a solo guy for solo guys and gals. So I recommend you check those out and make your a wise, intelligent decision as to what you want to use. But the point of it being, using your own capture pages will most likely generate higher opt-in rates. It will also set you apart, okay, from all the other people that promote the same opportunity. So what usually happens is we tend to see things through a prism. Do you know what a prism is, Gary?
Yeah.
Like so you can basically show people two exact same things, but shown through a different prism, and they will see it differently. So what I mean is this: let's just say I'm talking about you, Gareth, and I want to talk. Well, basically, I want to tell someone else about you and about your character and your qualities. So I say you're a pragmatic person, you're a productive person, you are a decisive person, right? But before I say these three things about you, I can pre-frame it. So the first version is I can say cold person, pragmatic person, decisive person. What was the last one?
I can't remember.
Decisive person. Right.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Cold person, pragmatic person, decisive person.
Decisive.
Yeah. Now, I can also say this and pre-frame it with a different light, and I say warm person, productive person, decisive person, pragmatic person. So when I pre-frame it with a statement, warm person, the rest, right, seems a bit different. The rest of the sentence is being accepted with a warm perception.
Yeah.
So you're a nice guy, and you're productive, and you're pragmatic, and you're decisive. But I can also say you're a dick, and you're pragmatic, and you're decisive, and you're productive, right? So
Yeah.
just, again, I'm just trying to make a point here, so I might use, different language patterns to make a
You
point.
might not be wrong. You might not be wrong.
So what I mean is that by using just one pre-framer, we completely change the perception that people have about you. Therefore, you do the same with your squeeze pages, you do the same with your welcome email whenever people join your list, you do the same with the first encounter that they have with you, which usually is your squeeze page if you're doing solo ads. So that's why it's so critical.
Right, brilliant. Yeah, so moving on from that then, another question I've had is from Paul McLaughlin. Do you recommend using a video on the lead capture page or just a sort of clean, catchy headline? Or would you say a combination of the two?
I would say the best, actually let me put it this way. I can't say this for sure about each and every industry out there.
Yeah, sure.
But I do know this about the BizUp market and the IM market, that the highest converting pages I've ever used and my students have ever used were simple pages, one big headline, and an opt-in form.
Right.
Okay, that's pretty much it. There's some versions that I've seen where people had testimonials on the squeeze page or some proof elements on the squeeze page, maybe some, I am trustworthy seals or, that sort of stuff. But for the most part, video would result in lower opt-in rates.
Right, that's interesting because it seems to be that the industry is trying to push people towards creating videos for sort of lead capture pages these days, and I must admit I thought that must get a better response, but it's interesting that you've said that now, so I know there are a lot of people, they'll have their heads turned by that, thinking, right, maybe I should just stick to a nice simple headline, maybe, excuse me, a little testimonial in there, without putting any videos in, so no, thanks for that, it's interesting.
I do urge our listeners to split test, right? Because
of course, yeah.
what I'm telling you is a result of extensive split testing throughout the last 4.5 years of my, solo career, if you will.
Yeah.
But I urge you to test because you may find something different. Maybe you'll find a bizarre video with a chipmunk playing a hunkadoodle or something. I don't know. It's gonna convert better. So. Yeah. You would always want to test. You don't want to take my words for granted. You don't want to take anyone else's words for granted. Even though I know many people will, I still urge you to do the split testing, which can easily be done with either Google Website Optimizer or a software such as Quality Click Control or AdTrax Gold or HyperTracker. So don't be lazy, okay? Don't be lazy. Go the extra mile, split test everything.
Sure. Brilliant. Thank you. I did have a really good question. It was towards the end of the list, but obviously I don't want to ask too many, so it was one that I did want to ask myself, actually. I thought it was quite interesting. Somebody asked, basically, it was what the difference was between a selling ad and a buyer's ad. That's something you offer both of?
Yes. So, you see, a buyer's ad is still a solo ad, only it goes out strategically goes out to a buyer list. Usually it would mean it's more expensive because these people have proven to be buyers, which means that whoever is selling a solo ad has made a decision to separate his buyers from his usual subscribers who, after they went through his follow-up sequence, after they went through his marketing, decided not to join him in his business or buy his information product. Now, it doesn't mean that these people don't have any buying power. They still do. It just meant that this offer specifically was not a good fit for whoever was going through the sequence. Therefore, a buyer list is people who did kind of raise their hand and said, I have the money, I'm willing to invest money into my success, and I'm qualified. However, this doesn't mean that you're going to get higher conversions either. Because, for example, I would probably not go ahead and send out an Empower Network type of offer, right? That's like, I was a junkie and I have hepatitis C, and I was homeless living in a van. Now I'm a millionaire, and I want to show you to do the same, right? Because this sort of claim, not necessarily anything wrong with the claim, and I do respect Dave and Dave for creating the mega successful enterprise they did. In fact, I got a pleasure to talk to Dave in person a little bit, which was really, really cool. However, this sort of claim, this sort of USP, doesn't quite fit with my buyer audience, because they have responded to a down-to-earth kind of marketing that focuses on minimal earnings, straight talk, no get-rich-quick schemes, no get-rich-quick mentality going on, and more so about list building, right? So we would probably not mail an Empower Network type of offer to the buyer list because it doesn't quite fit with the overall feel of the offers they have responded to. Therefore, there's no point in my client investing the extra cash because they're likely not going to get the extra results they're hoping for. But strategically, that's the difference. People who bought something from me, people who did not buy anything from me. Now, there's a lot of sellers out there who claim, like, there's the two sides of this coin. A lot of sellers claim that they will send out your solo to their buyer list as well. In reality, though, they don't have a buyer list. And the way to check it out is actually fairly simple. You just ask them, please go ahead and show me the product they purchased. Show me a sales page of the product they purchased. And if they show you an affiliate product, these are not qualified buyers because they did not commit to this specific person with their specific product, right? If they show you an Empower Network affiliate link, right, this doesn't qualify people as buyers because they can just say, I mailed them my link to this list and I got 2 signups, therefore this is a buyer list. Right. This is not a buyer list. A buyer is only somebody who qualified towards you financially, and that's what gives you the right to call them a buyer. So whenever you see anyone offer buyer silhouettes or tell you that they will mail your offer to their buyer list in addition to the regular list, you definitely want to ask them, okay, how many people on the buyer list, and what is the offer they purchased. See the sale, like actually go ahead and physically see that sales page in order to guarantee, to make sure that these people have purchased something. So that's my advice to you.
Brilliant. Well, thanks. Yeah, that actually leads on to one of the other questions I can see. I can't see who it's from, but they said, so if somebody purchases a solo ad from you, whether it be on your buyers list or whatever, let's just say that the offer you can see is something very generic like Empower Network, and you think this just isn't going to convert well, would you just take the money and just run it anyway, or would you advise that person and say, I don't think this is going to do very well, I'd recommend changing your capture page or whatever?
Usually the philosophy we embrace, that's probably one of the reasons why it became one of the biggest silhouette suppliers in the industry to date. Not the biggest one by far, but probably one of the biggest and one of the most popular and well-respected ones, is because we operate from a place of integrity in a way where we want our clients to get good results. Because what we learned over time is that the better results we can help our clients get, the more likely they're going to come back to buy more traffic, the more likely they're going to refer us to their partners and downlines and strategic alliances. And usually that kind of philosophy resulted in a great growth for my business. For example, I've been just invited to visit a private get-together mastermind in the UK, where I'll be hanging out with the top 25 European marketers. And they wanted me there only because I got the traffic, only because they respect me for having the traffic that converts and building such a big enterprise. Therefore, yes, we do our best to make sure to educate people about the squeeze pages they're using, about the follow-up approaches they're using. In fact, the coaching call I just had with a client of mine, was all about follow-up sequences and hitting objections that stop people from buying. Because we know if we can get them help at those results, if we can get them forward in their business, they will just keep coming back and they will keep recommending us. Like, I got at least 4 people right now who are pretty big in this industry who constantly send us business. Like, these are the best clients you can wish for because they trust us immediately because we were recommended. We don't have to spend money to get the customer through the door, which usually costs me between $20 to $50 a customer, right? So that's a great philosophy that I feel we've been lucky enough to embrace and to take that leap of faith and believe in, because most people, well, I don't want to say most, there's a bunch of other very successful, very honest traffic providers out there, but there's quite a few as well that have been riding the wave, right? They've been riding the tidal wave of solo ed industry that became pretty successful in the last year and a half or so, where they take advantage. They create fake Facebook profiles, they create fake pages, there's literally, I can tell you about 3 people that have swiped my proof elements and my testimonials onto their sales pages. Just swiped them, just pretty much stole them, right? Because they're taking advantage of this wave. There's one guy who walks around, who goes around and pretends to be me. Actually registered a Skype handle, Igor Kheifets, without the I in the middle. My Skype handle is Igor.Kheifets. And he pretends to be me, and he scammed a bunch of people who know me, who believe that I'm legit. He sold them leads. He sold them like ridiculously cheap clicks and never delivered and disappeared. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful, and you want to make sure that the overall feel you get from the person you're working with. And from my experience, you would usually work with 2 or 3, maybe up to 5 solo providers tops. They can supply with all the traffic you usually need. The overall feel you're getting is a feel of integrity and support and care versus a feel of, here's my solo page, go buy right now. Just looking to sell you some clicks.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's something in my time looking on the Warrior Forum and other places when people are reviewing solo ads, and something that's always come up, and a lot of the cynics, and I'll admit I've been that cynical before, is we've noticed that when all of the different solo ad sellers, the testimonials all seem the same. Like you'll look at one person and he's got, say, 3 or 4 testimonials from other solo ad sellers, and then you go on that person's page and they've got a similar testimony from the other person. And a lot of the cynics are sort of saying, because it's like a big buddy boys club, that everybody's just providing testimonials for each other just to make themselves look good, and they're not actually genuine testimonials. Is that something that you've experienced as well? I mean, obviously not necessarily yourself, but do you know of sellers out there who do that and maybe pay money even to get somebody to just write them a good testimonial?
Well, no, I don't think they go as far as paying someone money, unless they go on Fiverr and they just buy that, because we all know that you can go on Fiverr and you can buy testimonials.
Yeah.
I would say that what they do, they use a trick, which is somewhat okay. Again, I don't really like it because it's not quite truthful. But what they do, they swap. They do an ad swap with another list owner, and they ask them to post the ad swap testimonial as if it's a solo testimonial. But in reality, though, they didn't pay any money for the traffic.
Yeah.
So they don't see the situation the same. I would say that as long as whoever is getting the testimonial actually purchased the traffic from the person,
yeah,
it's legit. And we can also say the same about the WSO, the Very Special Offer section, right?
Yeah.
Where all the WSO creators go ahead and kind of share testimonials as well. Now, I don't feel that that's necessarily there's anything bad with it as long as the testimonial is genuine. Like, I will always, whenever my student, my coaching client, my consulting client, whenever they ask me to give them a testimonial about their upcoming product launch or anything, I will happily go ahead and do it, because that's, well, I feel that this person should be trusted and they can be worked with. But as long as these are not fake, not made up, and not bullshit, I feel it's cool. And also, again, you can always check it out if it's been, if it's truthful or not. You can reach out to these people. You can ask what kind of offers they promoted. You can see how genuine they are when you connect with them. And you can also get the overall feel of the seller too, because whoever is genuinely helpful and delivers on what his customers are pretty much advertising for him, you could usually feel that. You could usually feel that because with us, for example, we tend to get praise where people say that working with us exceeded expectations, even though the expectations were already pretty high. I mean, there was one client that we sent her 500 clicks, but we ended up sending it to the wrong page. And Yeah, so it did happen. I mean, stuff like that happens sometimes. You know,
It
we're
can
human.
happen.
It was like we had a very long, email correspondence conversation with her, and my assistant simply messed up with the link. He just took it the wrong link. That's all. So we went ahead and we resend it in full for free. In fact, this order, we never made the profit on it. We actually lost money, but she was ecstatic. Right, and she was actually, generous enough to give us a video testimonial as well. Even though she never shot a video before, she was never on camera. But she went ahead and did because we exceeded her expectations and we're really taking good care of her. So even though we lost money on this specific order, we're likely going to get many referrals and many people applying now as a result. Now there's a business lesson in this for other soloist providers, who want to treat their customers like that. However, the important point that I'm trying to make is that you just have to operate from a place of integrity, and when you do, your customers will feel that. Therefore, if you're buying from somebody, if you don't feel quite right, if you have this gut feeling that something ain't right, don't work with this person. You have like a gazillion other options. Even if it's me, even if you don't get the right feel from me, don't work with me. Move to the next in line. Get a Rolodex and just check other people out. You will click with somebody. That usually what happens is you click with a specific solo provider, and you tend to keep working with them on an ongoing basis for a very long time. That's usually the case.
Right, excellent. Thank you. I've noticed that you do a lot of advertising for your solo ads business on Facebook, and that's something that a lot of people come to me saying, "Wow, I see him everywhere on Facebook. He obviously must be doing really well because the ads just keep running and running." When it comes to advertising with businesses, is this what you primarily do, or do you have any other sort of methods that you use to sort of draw in buyers?
Buyers, you mean for solo ads?
Yeah,
Like
for
buy my
solo
solo
ads. Yeah.
Well, you'd be surprised, but there's very little, not that big of a chunk of customers that comes from those ads. In other
Oh,
words, it does increase my guru, right, my guru persona, and the
yeah.
credibility in the marketplace, because familiarity breeds trust. Right? So the more I'm visible in the marketplace, the more people trust me, the more people see me as a trusted authority. That's why at one point one of my mentors told me, you want to be everywhere. Right? If you want your marketplace to trust you, if you want people to want to do business with you, you want to be absolutely everywhere. On the Warrior Forum, on the Facebook, on Google. That's why I decided to agree to your request to do this interview with me as well, because I want to be everywhere, and I got absolutely no problem sharing value, giving out some of my best secrets, as long as I'm visible. Because the more visible I am, and that's what I teach to my students as well, the more visible you are, the more likely that the person who wants to buy from you will be predisposed to actually give you money, which is a good thing for business.
Yeah.
Now, as far as advertising my solo business, you'd be surprised, but today most customers come from referrals. They either get on someone's blog, like I did a similar interview with Mike Cowles. I did a similar interview with Michelangelo Lopez. I had the pleasure of being interviewed by Devon Brown, by Alex Shelton, and many different marketers out there who basically wanted to get an hour of my time to kind of pick my brain about this stuff. And the reason why I say yes is because the more trusted authorities in the marketplace recommend my services, the more people come and seek me out. And I'm thankful for guys like Miles Seegers, Paulo Barroso, B.J. Min, Devon Brown, Justin Glover, Michelangelo Lopez, I'm sorry, Michelangelo just mentioned him, Alex Shelton, Richard Legg, um, uh, I don't know, the list kind of goes, Corey Friedman, Mark Milburn, um, the list kind of goes on and on and on. All the people who recommend me, Dave and Dave from the Power Network, obviously, the iPass system people, the easy money method or the easy money formula, back in the day, it used to be very hot. Joel from Pure Leverage, Russell Brunson from .com Secrets X and .com Secrets Labs,
Yeah.
John Carlton. You'll see me release an interview with John Carlton pretty soon as well, who's a mega superstar when it comes to internet marketing. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that Facebook ads is more so for credibility than they are for getting the customer through the door.
Right.
It's this. It's connecting with my marketplace through the means of these syndicated content materials that allow me to get people knocking on my door and wanting to do business with me, not so much the advertising itself. So if you are a solo seller and you're listening to this and you're wanting to get customers, I recommend you become visible. That's all I recommend you. I recommend you try to get on the good side of those big leaders, of other people who have downlines, who have big teams, who have influence in the marketplace, to simply say, this guy knows his stuff and he has a good list. I recommend doing business with him. That's what you want to do, because this is where the best customers come. This is where people start trusting you and start investigating you. This is where they go into Google and type in your name and read reviews from your customers. This is where it all begins.
Brilliant, excellent. Thank you very much. There is another question, which this is something again that I was quite intrigued on. When I've been using platforms like I think is it Solo Swaps or Safe Swaps?
Safe Swaps.
Safe Swaps. And it was the first time, I think, really, it was a couple of years ago now, that I was really introduced to the whole different levels, different tiers of traffic. I've got somebody sort of saying, why do these solo ad platforms and offer like different sort of levels of tier traffic? Like what's the difference in traffic from America to say India, and why do you pay more of a premium price for sort of the regarded better levels of traffic, if you see what I mean?
Oh, that's a very good question. Another high quality question. Basically, the reason, here's the thing. People in India, they are very motivated, they're hardworking, they're very technical. However, the country is one of the biggest countries in the world right now, which is like a billion and 200 million, something like that. Like, it's pretty huge. And the country is poor, right? So, in order to make $100 in India, right, you have to work really, really hard. I mean, a good paycheck in India is about $500. Therefore, it's not like there's anything wrong with the people, but they simply cannot afford things the way that an American or a Brit, I think Brit is I can use that word, right? It's not offensive.
No.
Okay. So just like an American or a Brit or an Aussie or a Canadian, right, could. So these people that come from the Western world, and again, I mean, I'm from Israel, right? I don't really do much business in Israel, because people in Israel can't really afford much either, as well as people in Ukraine, people in Russia. Even though Russia is an emerging market, but it's still going to take some time before they really, get up to speed. So, people in America, people in the Western countries have credit cards. They have this mentality that where you have to invest money to make money. They don't have the poor mentality as people have in all these other different countries like Czech Republic and Ukraine and India and Pakistan and Indonesia. And again, I'm not trying to offend the people living in these countries. There's quite a few big and small marketers coming from these. Like India, they have Anwish Roth, who's a big WSO guy who's like very successful. I think he became a millionaire before the age of 22 or before the age of 24. I know that a bunch of people in Singapore are pretty successful. There's a bunch of people out there who are like big gurus as well, like Evan Chia and stuff like that. Ukraine, Czech Republic, like I said, Eastern Europe. Usually, people in those countries can't really afford to invest $100. To them, it's like a month worth to pay. Like in Bulgaria, you can live off $150 for a month.
Wow.
It's huge amounts of money. So when you ask them to spend, $100 on traffic, when you just literally, if you're their upline and you brought a person from Bulgaria into your downline or into your, information product, and you try to consult them, and you tell them that you got to spend $100 on traffic, this will usually be a problem, because $100 is a lot of money. And unless they have a thriving offline business that they can tap, for cash flow, it's likely not going to happen. So that is why, you will usually be asked to pay more, okay, for people coming from Western countries than you will for traffic that's like all over the world.
Right, sure. And is that something that you offer when you're selling your solo ads? Is that something you'll sort of say, you've got to pay a bit more if you want sort of westernized audiences like America, and UK, or do you send to whatever? Do you mix it up?
Yes, we do have an offer. We do have buyer solo ads. We do have, USA only solo ads. We do have like mixed around the world, which is about 60% US, 10 to 15% like the UK, Australia, and Canada, and the rest is all over the world. And we're also testing a new traffic source right now, which if you're watching this, you should reach out to us at igorsolowitz.com and ask us about it. Basically, where it's 97 or 96% US traffic, but there's a trick to monetizing them. So we are not, we're not hurrying to roll it out, but it is very high quality. It is very high percentage tier 1, and we're slowly testing this out. And in fact, just yesterday we mailed our buyers announcing that we're opening up a few spots to test it out, just to give it a shot. And basically we're just asking for people who are risk takers, who are willing to take a leap of faith and risk some of their money to test out a package like that. But until now, so far, we allowed 2 VIP clients to test it out, as well as ourselves. We've been getting reports of sales. We've been getting reports of about 47% opt-in rate. So it's looking good, but we're still in the testing phase. So I don't want to announce it just yet. But anyone who, if you're listening to this and you are a risk taker, you are willing to risk a couple $100 to test it out, reach out to us and we'll talk about it.
Brilliant, excellent. Well, I'm very aware that we've only got a few minutes left. I was going to squeeze one last question out of you because my friend has been definitely begging me to ask you this one. It's from Frederick Johann Karl Mandel. He's a co-founder of the VTU, the View Tracker University, which I mentioned with Steve Lawson earlier. When you're buying your traffic, if you had to choose between sort of solo ad media buys and pay per click, what would you choose and why? Or do you, I presume you do both?
Right. Another good question. You see, I choose to work with traffic sources that convert for me. PPC is not something I was able to get to convert because the opt-in rates would usually be like 15% and very poor. Facebook ads, on the other hand, I figured out a way to get 35-40% opt-in rate and getting subscribers at about between $2 and $4 per subscriber. And with a proper follow-up mechanism, I'm able to monetize them very, very well. Warrior Forum is a great place to get leads too, but you have to become an authority there first. So I wouldn't it's not like an overnight traffic source like solo ads. Specific media buying is another great way to get traffic. You can actually, if you got the right banner ad, if you really tweak it to get the right click-through rate, to get the maximum click-through rate from the banner ad, you can get the cost per click down to like 40-50 cents a click, which means it's pretty much like a solo ad, and the conversions are pretty much the same if the site is an authority site. But it's a bit more time-consuming to actually go ahead and look up a decent site that allows you to buy any sort of media, spots. My friend Kenny. I don't remember what's his last name is. Actually, if you give me just one moment here, I'm going to tell you exactly what his name is while I'm loading my site. Well, he's actually pretty good at this. He's pretty good at locating these sites. And if you want to learn more how to get the banner ads going on, I recommend you look into, just give me 1 minute, I'm kind of looking up, Kenny James.
Right, yeah.
Kenny James is the name of the guy. He's very good at getting high-converting banner ad traffic and maximizing the ROI here. So to answer your friend's question, I don't neglect traffic sources. I test them out. If I can get them to work for me, great. I keep using them until they dry out, which usually doesn't really happen. But I use everything that I can. That's probably one of the reasons why my list is actually much better than most solo providers' lists, because they just, like I said, they just buy solos to sell solos. They never diversify. They never pre-qualify. They never get fresh people onto the list.
Sure. Well, that's brilliant. We're clocking in 55 minutes. I'm so grateful for your time. I'll let you go now because an hour, we've got so much content there, and people are going to have loads to get through, a good hour's worth of content. So thank you so much for your time. And yeah, this has been a real eye-opener for me. I've learned a lot today. So I'll have to go back and watch this probably another 2 or 3 times to let it all sink in. But obviously this will appear on my blog. So anybody watching this now, it's live anyway, but it's recorded, so it will appear on my YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting it on my blog, so I'll be sending everybody the relevant links and everything. So Igor Kheifets, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we'll speak soon.
All right, man. So I'll hook up with you on Facebook, and everybody, again, thank you for tuning in and listening to my annoying voice, which I don't really like to listen to myself. And if you're looking for a soloist, you know, I'm kind of just plug this in real quick. If you're looking for a soloist, you can check out igorsoloids.com, or you can just type in Igor Kheifets soloist in Google, or you can just visit, you know, Garrett's blog, because I'm sure he will be nice enough to stick my link onto that page. So just when you reach out, feel free to ask us about the new traffic source. Feel free to ask us about the solo insurance, where we try to eliminate as much risk as we can from your solo purchase, as well as ask us about the free squeeze page that we can do for you in case you are not technical or you don't want to build one for yourself. Either way, if you're looking for traffic, we'll be happy to help you out, as well as, you know, just give you a hand with your back-end follow-up mechanisms and your front-end squeeze pages and marketing type of stuff as well. So, Garrett, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Igor. Take care, and we'll speak soon.
Bye-bye.
Cheers now. Bye.